Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days. In today's video, we'll also have a look at CFS V2 and the Candlesticks model for August. We might be seeing the first signs, first hints perhaps, of our first cooler than average month of the year. Potentially, now this will be quite a shock because it has been a very warm year so far in 2017. But perhaps a few hints are there of something a bit cooler coming up for August. So we'll see what's going on in a moment. We'll have a look at week to 10 days first of all, and then we'll have a look at the longer range stuff. Starting off with a central in temperature, we haven't got the update for July yet, so we still only have up to the 30th provisional of July, which at that point was standing at 17.1, an anomaly of a degree above average. Now that's probably going to finish up, I'll explain this in the video either yesterday or Sunday, so that's probably going to finish up underneath 17 degrees, but it will still be warmer than average, and that will join June, May, April, March and February all being warmer than average. Even January was warmer than average, but at just 0.1 of a degree above average. I think we basically say that January was an average CT month. But except January, every other month this year has been warmer than average, and no months have been cooler than average. Now, could August be the month that changes this? So these are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Dealing with the upper air temperatures first of all, the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. Bit cooler than average at the moment. We're going to go a bit warmer than average tomorrow, but that's associated with quite an active area of low pressure, which will bring a fair amount of rain. And then after that, through the first week of August, staying cooler than average. That takes us to around the 10th of August, just there. So up to the first 10 days of August, it's looking cooler than average in terms of the upper air temperatures. Maybe something warmer coming up then through the middle part of the month. That's the extended range of the model. It's a long way off, but we have got a few ensemble members there that are lifting up quite substantially above the 30-year temperature average. So maybe middle part of August, mid-August is our next sort of focus for something a bit warmer to be coming along. But certainly the first 10 days of August are looking really quite cool. These are surface temperatures. This is for Manchester. So what we see here is that for the next couple of weeks, generally quite cool temperatures. This is 20 degrees just here. So we're under 20 degrees at the moment in terms of the 2M temperatures at Manchester. We're staying under 20 degrees really right way through the first 10 days of August. That takes us to the temperatures there. After that, we do see a very modest warming beginning to take place, lifting up at least towards 20 degrees. Some of these members, these are GFS ensemble members by the way, just looking at the surface rather than the upper air temperatures. Some of those ensemble members are going up towards the mid-20 Celsius through towards the middle part of August. So that does imply that middle August might turn a little bit warmer, but certainly the first 10 days Manchester looking relatively cool. Pressure also looks like it's going to be lifting up a little bit, so this is where we start in terms of the barometric pressure for Manchester, around 1,010 millibars, which is pretty low, really, actually going a little bit lower later this week. But after that, the trend is to start to move things upwards in terms of the pressure. So by this point here, we're getting up between around 1,020 and 1,030 millibars. So that's pretty high pressure starting to develop as we get towards the end of the first week and into the second week of August. It does look as though pressure will start to recover then. So maybe something warmer, drier coming up for the middle part of the month, but the early part of the month is looking quite cool, quite unsettled. We can see this on the temperature anomalies for the next week. This is taking us from the 1st through to the 9th of August. A little bit cooler than average there for the UK and for Ireland. Really roasting hot down across the southeast of Europe. You know, anybody that's going to southeastern Europe in the next 10 days, they really are going to be very, very hot down there. Precipitation anomalies for next week from the 1st to the 9th of August, coming out wetter than average, so cool and unsettled and quite wet really sums it up for the first week to 10 days of the month. This is how the GFS is looking for Saturday, then bringing low pressure in across the country as a shallow trough that's likely to be bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Maybe a little bit drier on Sunday, but watch out for this area of low pressure just here, lurking out to the west of the country. That heads in from the Atlantic as we go later through Sunday into Monday. That's bringing quite a lot of wet weather with it later in the weekend and through to the start of next week. That low pressure clears off into the North Sea as we get through into Tuesday. Leaves us in this very cool, quite showery northerly wind. Then after that, however, this is when the recovery in pressure begins to take place. So there's the Azores high down there, well to our southwest, but it is throwing up this ridge across the country. So in the second half of next week, yes, we do start to see a bit of a recovery in pressure. It should turn drier. It should turn a bit warmer, although the flow is still generally coming off the Atlantic, so probably not talking about a heat wave here, but certainly a slightly warmer and particularly drier spell coming up in the second half of next week. However, it doesn't take long before that high pressure starts to pull back out to the west again, and here comes the next low pressure and the next set of fronts and cool northwesterly winds by Saturday the 12th of August. So it's only a brief sort of respite really with that ridge building up from the Azores high through the second half of next week, and it certainly doesn't last all that long. And then we're back into this fairly cool and showery westerly flow actually on this latest run of the GFS model 6 o'clock run as we head up towards the middle part of August. ECMBF looks like this, so Saturday is likely to be quite a showery day as we get through into Sunday. There comes this next area of low pressure, a little bit later coming in, so probably more or less a dry day on Sunday, but by the end of it, we'll be getting rain coming in from the west, and that leads to a very unsettled start to next week. Back comes the low pressure as a trough in the 500 millibar flow, sitting over the top of the country, no doubt producing showers and longer spells of rain. By Wednesday next week, that low pressure is heading off into the North Sea. Here comes the ridge from the Azores high again, and that gives us a drier and warmer interlude as we go through to the second half of next week. This is day 10, Friday the 11th of August, where we're still just about under this ridge of high pressure, but already we might be starting to see the first signs, but it's beginning to decline down to the southwest a little bit. If we could run on another day or two beyond this, we'd probably re-establish a west-northwesterly flow. But for a couple of days later next week, it does look drier and warmer under that ridge from the Azores high as well. So let's see how the CFS is picking things up for the next month then. These are the 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us through the first week of August, the 1st through to the 7th, and it's looking unsettled. You'll not be surprised to know that. We've just looked at the GFS, the ECMWF, and they are unsettled at least to the end of next week. So we've got low pressure here over the UK. Very hot ridge is in the east and the southeast of Europe. That's where summer's going to be in the coming week. Also got a little bit of northern blocking there close to Greenland. So what we're doing with the flow is something rather like that, and of course we've got these southerly winds pushing up into the eastern part of Europe. In the west of Europe we're actually putting down quite a cool northwesterly type influence around that flow, and we're on the cool side of the jet stream as well. Week 2, which takes us from the 8th through to the 14th of August, doesn't look as unsettled, but low pressure or below average heights still up to the north and northeast. We've got above average heights to our southwest, and I think doing something a bit like that with the jet stream. So still probably fairly cool, not quite as unsettled, but I would have thought particularly for the north and northeast, still likely to be showery. Week 3, which takes us from the 15th to 21st of August, brings back below average heights from the west. That one looking really quite unsettled indeed. Low pressure is coming in from off the Atlantic there. And then week 4, which is the 22nd through to the 28th of August, this one brings a change. Heights are rising over and to the east of the UK. That trough is out in the Atlantic, so would start to do something a bit like that with the jet stream. That's quite a significant change there, but the final week of August implies much more of a southerly influence, probably drier and probably quite a lot warmer as well. Temperature anomalies from the CFS V2 for next month look cooler than average in the week ahead. Also cooler than average in week 2, 8 to the 14th. That's coming out cooler than average as well. Week 3 is still almost cooler than average also. This takes into the second half of August, and the anomaly is still close to being cooler than average. It's not until we get to week 4, 22nd to 28th of August, that we finally start to lift those temperatures up to warmer than average. Now, if this is right, most of August is looking cooler than average here, with only the final stages of the month coming out warmer than average. I doubt that warmer than average spell, unless it's very hot, would be enough to offset the cooler stuff that has gone before. Also, tropical tidbits with the Kansas model, they've updated this morning, and the Kansas model is going cooler than average. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for August, when we find we've got quite an unsettled month coming up. We've got trough of low pressure over the UK. We're on the cool side of the jet stream there as well. So the temperature anomaly from the Kansas model, that tropical tidbits, you can find the link to tropical tidbits on the links page. Temperature anomalies are coming out cooler than average for August. I think we've got both the GFS and the ECMWF in agreement here for a cooler than average month. Also looking wetter than average as well. So a pretty dismal old August, if this is right with the long-range Kansas model. One of the reasons I think we might be coming out cooler than average is that we've got these cold sea surface temperature, or cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies in the northern part of the Atlantic, and they have got closer to us recently. They have moved just to our west and southwest. So if we're bringing in a lot of westerly winds at this time of the year, those cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies will probably be enough to deliver us cooler than average temperatures. If they persist to winter, then it's the opposite, because in winter, even with a cooler than average Atlantic, it'll still be much warmer in the winter compared to a continental flow from the east. So that's the reason that these cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies in winter won't deliver usually a cooler than average winter. It'll still usually be milder than average if it's westerly. But in August, it's a bit different, and if we get a lot of westerly winds with those cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies, it's not out of the question that we might get a cooler than average month. That would be a shock, because as I say, I've had a very warm year so far. Will we get a cooler than average August? I think it's still a remote possibility, really. We've had so much warmth going on over the past few months that it would be a real shock to suddenly shift to cooler than average. But you never rule anything out. Going to be giving the gas weather this August month-end forecast tomorrow, and this evening Terry Scully will be releasing his August forecast as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see what Terry is predicting. But potentially, we are on course for our first cooler than average month of the year. The question is, will it come off? Let's watch this space. Right, come back later on for Terry's Scully's August forecast. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.